Welcome to Trailer Park, the podcast trailer podcast. I'm Ariel Nissenblatt. Last you heard from me was sometime over the summer. Me and my co-host Tim Villegas got real busy with life and work and unceremoniously just sort of stopped making the show. After all of my preaching about pod fading and leaving your listeners high and dry, I found myself in that situation, but I'm back now. On this show, we hit play on a podcast trailer, then I share some thoughts about it. Was it effective? Was it enticing? Was it too long? Was it too short? The goal of this show is to help creators get their podcasts to a new audience and also to help listeners find their next favorite show. I'm back making the show for a few reasons. One, I still love trailers. I listen to tons of them as a way of discovering new shows. Two, people legitimately asked me about this show, wondering where it went. When attending podcast conferences, it was such a blast that people knew about Trailer Park and asked when it was coming back. 3, I realized I host 3 podcasts about the podcast industry, and I want to keep that up. I run Feedback with Earbuds, the podcast recommendation podcast that goes along with my newsletter, Earbuds Podcast Collective. I may change the name of that podcast and the premise of the show, so stay tuned for more on that. I host this show, and then I host another show called Podcast Elevator Pitch. Details on that one in the show notes, and yes, it's also a submission-based show, so you can get featured. I'm back now with this quick episode to reintroduce the show to your feed. Thank you for staying subscribed to the folks who have, and welcome to the newbies if this is your first episode. Tim Villegas, my co-host of almost 2 years, is stepping away from the Trailer Park at this time. He's got to focus on making his podcast, Think Inclusive, from the Maryland Coalition for Inclusive Education. So go check out that show and support Tim. As for this show, I want to get you involved. Do you have a trailer for your podcast? You can submit it to TPP and you might get featured. When submitting, you are agreeing to having it played on this feed and possibly a light roasting. But I think you can handle it. Head to trailerparkpodcast.crd.co to learn more and submit some audio. I hope to be back soon with more trailers. In the meantime, follow TPP on social. We're on Instagram at trailerpark_pod. And you can email us with questions and concerns at hello@trailerparkpod.com. That's it. If you need more from us, go back and listen to some of our earlier episodes. There's lots of inspiration and entertainment in this podcast feed. Until next time, happy listening and happy trails.